Welcome back to Business Next. Our guest on this segment of the show is David Rhoa, owner of Lake Michigan Mailers in Kalamazoo and a member of the Small Business Association of Michigan's Board of Directors. David, you testified this week before the state legislature on a small business owner's perspective on the governor's tax and budget plan. Can you give us an overview of what you told the lawmakers?
Well, what we covered with them was that the current MBT is so complex, almost perverse in its complexity, and that complexity has led to extreme costs for small business owners across the state, and that complexity has also led to uncertainty as to what is coming next. For example, in our company, we spend on average 80 man-hours a year simply calculating our MBT liability. So that's about 4% of a full-time equivalent's total work hours in a year to calculate our state tax liability. It's insane.
So that's 80 hours that you don't have somebody working on, for example, growing sales.
That's correct. It's 80 hours that I have to contribute to do nothing more than tell me how much money I have to give the state. And that complexity is compounded by the fact that the information that's available to us and to our outside tax professionals is lacking. For example, we send our people every year to seminars, how to deal with the MBT, questions about the MBT, and these are taught by the best and brightest in the industry. And when our people have asked questions, specific questions, the answers that we've gotten back from these tax executives, or these tax experts rather, has been, well, that's a gray area, or that is something that we're working on, it may have to be settled in the courts. Settled in the courts? That's insane. If you have a tax program that is not understandable to the layman, it sets the stage for abuse, neglect, and non-compliance, to say nothing of what it says to the outside world about how complicated it is to do business here in Michigan.
There's no question that it would be good to get rid of the Michigan business tax, but what do you see as the impact on your firm of the governor's plan for a 6% corporate tax?
Well, if the governor's plan is approved and implemented, we would see a direct savings as a result of that. The tax burden to our company would be eliminated, and that would allow us to, again, continue the process that we've been doing for the last 35 years, investing in our people, in our equipment, in our software, in our building, in our infrastructure, and continuing to grow our business. It becomes less of an obstacle, and it gives us the opportunity to grow the business as we've wanted to grow it for years.
David, there's been a lot of pushback by groups that oppose the 6% corporate tax, who claim that a tax cut is a giveaway to small businesses and that small businesses aren't going to really use that tax savings to do anything productive. What do you think is going to happen in your firm?
Well, in my firm, I can speak best for my firm, but I think I can also speak for a number of other small firms and family-owned businesses. My family-owned business, we've been in business now for 35 years, and like other family-owned businesses in this state, we're all in. Every dime of our wealth is invested in our company. We didn't do that begrudgingly. We gladly do it. We know that that's a great investment for our family's long-term wealth growth. However, if you take away that barrier that's there now, it can only help those businesses grow. We're a second stage growth company. I don't need assistance from the state. I simply need the state to step out of the way, and we'll handle the growth on our end.
There have also been some op-eds and articles that claim that low tax rates don't really matter to economic development. Again, kind of presenting for our listeners your perspective as a real small business owner working there in the trenches. Does it make an impact to have lower taxes?
It does make an impact. You know, one of the issues that we have seen, we operate a facility in Kalamazoo, Michigan. We also have a facility in South Bend, Indiana. And just earlier this week, I was speaking with some economic development professionals in Indiana. Now, as a quick background, Indiana as a state is focusing on positioning themselves to be the place to go, the place to be the business refugee site for Michigan, Illinois, and Ohio. And I asked the question, what happens in Indiana if Michigan actually passes and implements Governor Snyder's proposal? And after a pregnant pause, the comment was made, that would be very difficult for Indiana. Indiana sees it the right way. Indiana sees taxes on corporations and businesses as being a barrier for growth. And that's how they're positioning themselves, to be less than Indiana and more simplified than Michigan. If Michigan were to implement this plan, Indiana is in trouble.
Well, David, we appreciate your perspective on this. It's one thing, I think, for folks to hear about the impact of this plan, to hear from policymakers and op-ed writers and stuff, but I think it means a lot to have a real small business owner talk about the impact on him or her.
Well, I think it's important that all small business owners take a look at what the impact would be for them. I don't know of any small business owner who, if given the opportunity to not have to have a tax obligation, wouldn't turn around and create jobs, invest more in their people, invest more in their equipment, invest more in their software. This is a tremendous economic growth opportunity that we're being presented with, and we have to take advantage of it.
And of course, when small businesses create jobs, that's more economic activity, and ultimately it's more income tax revenue for the state of Michigan to spend on, we hope, worthwhile programs.
Absolutely, and if you look at the change that this program is going to make, if implemented, it reduces the tax on small businesses, but it picks up the tax on the income side. I will take that bet every time. Tax my income more. Let me grow my business, gain more income. I'll pay it on the back end. But if you tax my business and tax my income, both suffer.
But it all begins with a tax climate that encourages you to have greater business activity and earn more income.
Absolutely.
David, tell us about Lake Michigan Mailers.
Lake Michigan Mailers is a 35-year-old family-owned and managed company. We're headquartered in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and we specialize in document management and distribution services.
David Rhoa is owner of Lake Michigan Mailers in Kalamazoo and a member of the Small Business Association of Michigan's Board of Directors. Thanks a lot for joining us on Business Next.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We'll be back with more right after this.